everybody. It's Kyle. I am coming to you from our newer vehicle that we just got. We got a 2022 Kia Sorento. Sucker's fully loaded. It's a beautiful vehicle. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to start off all right. Just like normal, I'm going to start off with what's bugging me. Okay. What is bugging me? Man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, I've talked about so much lately, it's kind of hard to think of something that's not bugging me. There's a lot bugging me right now. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about the media. I've talked about all that. I've talked about rude people out there in the wild. It's a tough one. I guess what I'll go with is I think I really can't stand the way that insurance companies can make decisions when it comes to my health care. Okay? What I mean is this. As you guys know, of course, I suffer from clinical depression. So I do take meds for that. And I had been talking to a psychiatrist about it just because I felt like something needed to change with my meds and the course of therapy that I was taking and all that. And I think I've told you guys this. And so I ended up getting bumped up as far as my what I take. Okay, and that's fine, no big deal. So I got a little bump in meds, and we'll see how it goes. Long story short, the medicine that I'm taking now is called, the same name as what it was before, but then it's called XL, like extra large, okay? So, I got prescribed the extra large dose or pill or whatever, and went to go fill it at my pharmacy and all that stuff, and they came back and said, oh, yeah, your insurance won't pay for this. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah, the insurance won't pay for that. And then we talked back and forth a few times. I talked to the insurance company. So what they will pay for, though, it's a 450 milligram pill, the XL is. So what they will pay for is a 300 pill and a 150 pill. So they'll make me take 2 pills instead of 1, and they'll end up paying more money instead of allowing me to take the single pill, which is cheaper. How ridiculous is that? And the funny thing is, I went to go for my checkup yesterday, and just talking to the doctor that I deal with all the time, my regular MD, primary care provider, whatever. I was talking to him about it, and we were just laughing, about how stupid this is. It's so ridiculous. What do you mean, If someone decides to prescribe this to you, I don't understand. So we just kind of got a laugh out of it and everything. But the real key is that it is not funny, dude. It's actually really sad. Now, I can afford the hassle and all that stuff, but some people cannot. And there are people that, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I'm trying to remember the name of the film, and I'm not the biggest fan of this film director, this documentarian, Michael Moore, but he did one on American healthcare, United States healthcare, and basically what's going on with it and all that stuff. And there is a part in that film where a guy was working on something at his home in the garage or whatever, and he cut off 2 of his fingers, or the tops of 2 of his fingers or whatever. And if they could reattach both of them or something like that. But anyway, he got to the hospital. They got him into the ER. They got him all taken care of. But before they could do anything, they wanted to talk to him about it, because if they saved both fingers, he would have had to pay out of pocket like $70-some thousand, because his health insurance, his healthcare insurance, wouldn't pay to save both fingers. it saw one of his fingers as expendable, even though they had the finger on ice and everything. They could have attached both of them. They would only reattach one of them. The insurance would only pay for the reattachment of one. So he had to choose. And so he ended up choosing his left ring finger because that's where his wedding ring is. And he went ahead and saved that and let his middle finger on that hand go. Which, fuck. I mean, but the point is this. Why? Why am I paying for healthcare insurance if you're going to make me choose fingers or some shit like that? I don't understand what's going on as far as how they're coming up with these ideas on what they're going to pay for and what they're not going to pay for, when every single month I'm paying for insurance premiums. It's just really bizarre. You guys are going to have to go through the ATM with me, so hey, bear with me. I'll tell you more about why we're doing this episode right now later on. But it just really makes me mad that over a doctor's advice, over a doctor's decision, healthcare insurance can trump that and not pay for something because they don't pay for that. I mean, that's what happened to me. So, long story short, I went ahead and I got the I went ahead and got the deal with 2 pills, so whatever. Here we go. Jeez. Okay. Got that done. Let me say no on that last question. Jesus. All right, got that money out. Okay. So, long story short, yeah, I had to have the pharmacy go ahead and first of all, they had to recontact the doctor, which it's an online service that I'm using because, it's hard to get in anywhere right now. And there's all these online services you can use. And it went through the insurance company, the healthcare insurance company that we use. And so I just figured it would all be hunky-dory. Well, it really is. The only real problem that I can see is that the insurance company disagrees with the doctors that are on the service for our healthcare insurance. Blah, 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 blah. Here's the good news. I didn't get any fingers cut off, so I didn't have to make that decision. But other than that, I don't know if any of you have had anything like that happen. I mean, I've heard horrible decisions having to be made, which will let people die. And it's amazing to me that we live in a time where an insurance company can make a decision on how many fingers somebody can have, or what fingers are expendable, or whether or not they can have this life-giving medicine or life-keeping medicine. It's bizarre, and I know it exists. Another instance would be, we have some medication for my daughter that she takes regularly. It has to do with skin and keeping clear skin and all that. And it's a shot. I actually have to give her a shot twice a month. And those shots cost about $600 each shot. So about $1,200 a month, something like that. And the good news is this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen when there are commercials about a new medication or something, and they'll say, please contact us if you're having trouble paying for this. That's not just for poor people. That's for everybody. And I highly suggest you do it if you get the chance, because we ended up getting these vouchers. So basically everything's covered every time for the first 13 or 14 months of this medication, which is great. That may be all she is on it. She may not be on it after that. But yeah, again, there's a couple problems here. Obviously, the charge for the medication is outrageous, okay? But then again, the whole deal that your own insurance, I just don't understand why is it I'm paying for healthcare insurance if they're not going to cover my healthcare when situations arise. And it's not really healthcare insurance. It's kind of more like healthcare, well, maybe we'll see if we pay for that kind of situation. And that's bullshit, man. That's not what healthcare insurance is. Healthcare insurance means something comes up someone's hurt or someone's sick or something like that, and they're not going to have to worry about exorbitant healthcare bills in order to get this rectified. Because your healthcare insurance company that you've been paying every single month for years is going to step up and help out and cover almost everything. That's healthcare insurance, guys. Insurance is not, I mean, there is something to deductibles, and I get all that stuff, but boy, what a sham. Insurance is really a sham. Healthcare costs are a sham. There's a lot of stuff like that. Income tax is a sham. I mean, the annual income tax we pay every year, you know, I'll tell you what I don't get about that. So let's say I go buy this new vehicle like we bought, okay? So we bought it with money that we made, which is taxed, okay? Then we buy this vehicle and we pay sales tax. So we're paying tax twice on the money, okay? And then every year we have to pay property tax on this vehicle. So now we're being taxed 3 times on the same amount of money. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd, and it's a scam, and it's a sham, because our roads are still shitty, our schools still suck, and I'm not seeing a lot of good things happening with our tax dollars, but I am seeing a lot of old white men get a lot richer, if you know what I'm saying. Pretty blatant. Yeah, of course they know what I'm saying. Duh. But yeah, it's just, those things are shams and scams, man. And we are all subject to it, and it is ridiculous. All right, I'll quit talking about it. That's what I got. I'm going to come back to you guys in just a moment, talk about some things I'm into. I'm also going to talk to you about why it is you're with me on this little road trip that I'm taking right now. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kyle. Hey, Kyle. All right, and we're back. All right, so what am I into right now? Well, let me start off before I get into that, and I want to talk about, it is something that I'm into also, but what it is that you're on this journey with me for. Okay, so I've watched a lot of things on YouTube, and I'll be honest with you, YouTube's my very favorite thing to watch, which is nuts. I never thought I'd be saying that, especially when we live in a world where I can pull up almost any film I want to see and watch it. But it's true. It is. There's so much information on there that's pretty amazing. Now, you know, you got to take a lot of it with a grain of salt. But when you see somebody doing something and they're successful at it, and then you start to see that there are hundreds of other people that are doing the same thing and they're successful at it, something's got to be real to that, right? Now, crypto mining is something I've been interested in, but you know, it's kind of one of those things. You got to invest a lot in hardware, and you know, usually the return isn't all that great. I mean, I still have my eyes on some things out there when it comes to crypto mining, but a lot of it's just kind of crazy. But I started watching these guys, and I've been watching people build computers and stuff online for a long time, okay? The Toasty Bros, they're a favorite of mine. Dawid Does Tech, I love him. I don't know, there's a bunch of them. I watch a bunch of them, and I dig them. I like tech reviews. I like nerdy tech stuff, okay? So I started watching a few different guys that are basically buying a little bit older parts, and they're building up these gaming rigs, and they're selling these gaming rigs, okay, through Facebook Marketplace or through Craigslist or Mercari, you know, all of those places. They're selling them on there, and they're usually making at least a couple $100 for each one. Sometimes they're making $400 or $500, depending on the system and the specs inside. But right now, there's a shortage of GPU processors and GPUs. Okay, those are graphic processing units, or video cards, you may have heard them called. There's a shortage on them. Basically, it's kind of been going that way even before COVID, but it's gotten really bad since COVID. So what I've seen is a lot of people are making systems using older GPUs, right? I mean, I have an RX 580 with 8 gigabytes in my Mac Pro that I built at home or rebuilt at home, you know, and then we bought some parts and made a game system for my son maybe about a year ago, and I found him a 1050 Ti with 4 gigs of memory, and it works great too. But I think even for my RX 580, I bought that thing for about $160, I think. If you want to buy that same video card right now, you're talking 600, 700 or more, okay? Because there's such a shortage and a high demand for video cards. So what these guys are doing is they are buying a little bit older processors, a little bit older, different parts, and then they're building out these gaming systems with RGB lighting in a newer case, so it has a good look to it, doing real good cable management, so you can't really see a bunch of cables everywhere inside the case, and just making it look real sharp. And they're selling these things. It's called flipping PCs, right? Kind of like flipping a house. The only difference is, I guess you do still buy a lot of parts and build up the house and make it good. It's kind of like that, but more like all you're doing is buying parts. There's no base in the system, and you're assembling them. And the parts you can get a little bit cheaper because it's not real easy to sell parts, okay? But it is a lot easier to sell a complete system. People don't want to come and buy a gaming computer for their kid in parts and then assemble it for them and give it to them. People want to come buy a system that works. They can see it works. It gets the right amounts of frames per second and all that stuff, and it runs smoothly. For Fortnite is a huge one. For Minecraft, Roblox is big. CS:GO, Call of Duty games, all that stuff. They want it to run on those things because that's what kids are playing, right? Rainbow Six Siege, that's a big one too. So I dig it. I've been watching these guys do this, and I'm like, man, I want to do that. I can do that. I mean, I've built computers before. That's not the end of the world. It's pretty easy. I want to take and create a system from parts and sell it, right? So I'm going to do that. I talked to my wife about it. We discussed it. I kind of explained it to her. She, immediately after talking about it, she recognized that it is kind of a familiar activity for me, because one big reason I do Gunpla, or these Japanese like Gundam models, or even the Star Wars models, is that it's kind of one of those things I can sit down and focus on, and takes my mind off other things. So I keep my mind working on something and not thinking about things that can get you down and stuff like that, not letting things creep in there, and as far as depression goes. And so she recognized right away, well, hey, this is a lot like when you build those. I go, yeah, it is. The only difference is we can make money with me doing this. So we're going to do this. And the real cool news is I ordered my first parts, or I bought my first parts from people today. And I am on my way right now to a location where I've got a processor I wanted to buy from a guy. It's a Core i5 6500, so it's a 6th generation Core i5. Pretty fast processor though, and he had the processor for $60, and he's going to go ahead and throw in a motherboard for free. So the motherboard that he's throwing in is worth about $110. So basically, the processor, I could only find that same exact processor for about $85. So basically, I'm getting $195 worth of stuff for $60. So when I build a system with this and flip it, I'm going to make some jack, right? I mean, that's what's going on. I'm going to make some money off this deal. And it's exciting. I also found a GPU online, and I've seen this GPU around in other locations. It's a RX 460. But I've seen this GPU around. Just got 2 gigs of video memory. I've seen it online for, $240. I'm getting it for $75. Because the guy's been trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. He just, or not Facebook, that one's Craigslist, actually. Where I'm headed right now for the processor and motherboard is Facebook Marketplace. But, the guy just doesn't want to deal with it anymore. I mean, the key is you look at how long they've been trying to sell this, how many times they've dropped the price, and then you hit them with an amount you're willing to pay. So, like that guy, this is a Gigabyte brand, RX 460, with 2 gigs of DDR5 video memory. It's a great card, really. Not fantastic. My card's better that I have at home. Even my son's video card's a little bit better. But you put this in a machine that's got that Core i5 6500, you throw 16 gigs of RAM in there, an SSD boot drive, and then a hard drive to store stuff on, and put it in a nice case with a nice power supply. You got a whole system, man. And it's a nice gaming rig with RGB lights and all that stuff. Looks fancy, plays all the games everybody wants to play. Boom. You can sell it for good money. So that's what I'm planning on doing right now. I'm heading to get this processor and motherboard. Hopefully he has the IO shield, which is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. On motherboards, where all the ports stick out of a motherboard, like all your USB ports or all that stuff, your Ethernet port on the back. There's a piece of metal that snaps into the case that you're building it in, and it just kind of holds all those ports up to a certain point. It's really not even necessary, but aesthetically it looks a heck of a lot better, and it keeps dust from getting in there. So there you go. So yeah, I'm heading to get this from this guy, and I'm pretty excited about it. My wife's excited about it, and I may be heading to buy that video card from this guy here, in a couple hours also on the other side of town. That's the thing I've really noticed is this guy drives a lot, and I've seen other people that are flipping these. Sometimes you'll have to drive an hour away or so to get something. Depending on how good it is, that's how far you're willing to drive. But yeah, I don't mind driving 20 minutes, 25 minutes to do this and 30 minutes to do that around the Kansas City area. And then putting all that stuff together and selling it and making $300 or $400 is fine by me. So that's what I'm doing, guys. That's what I'm into right now. That's one of the things I'm into. What else am I into right now? Let's see. Oh, music. Okay. So I did go to Seventh Heaven last weekend, and I saw they have a Facebook page, and the guy on there will flip through some of the stuff they've just gotten in, and he was flipping through all these records they recently dropped the prices on, and I noticed he flipped through Frank Black's Fast Man Raider Man. Now, I almost bought that before. It's a double album. Not my favorite Frank Black album, but, I'll take any Frank Black album. I noticed it when I was at the store before, and it was like $37, okay? And I'm like, oh, God. Well, $19 for the same exact thing. I guess they just weren't selling them fast enough, so they dropped that sucker down to $19. And when I was looking around, I also found Sade's album, Diamond Life, that has Smooth Operator and a bunch of other great songs on it. So I picked that sucker up as well, and that was about $15. So yeah, for about $34 or so, I got a couple really killer albums, and I've been spinning those and listening to those and loving those. So, what have I been watching? Yeah, I really need to catch up on Book of Boba Fett. I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sold on that show. I want to be, but I'm not. All right, we'll leave it right there. I hear that I haven't seen episode 4 or 5, okay? So I hear they're pretty good, actually. So we'll see. I'll watch it. We have been watching The Peacemaker with John Cena. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the film Suicide Squad, the last Suicide Squad film by James Gunn that was on HBO Max this year. Had Idris Elba in it, and of course, what's her name playing Harley Quinn again. But anyway, yeah. So we started watching Peacemaker. He's one of the characters in that film, and now he's got his own show on HBO Max, and man, it's awesome. One really cool thing about it is a character from DC's past who is called Vigilante. Sorry about that. I'm turning left in case you can't hear that, or you don't know what that is. That's the clicker going boop, boop, boop. So sorry you got to hear that because the phone's kind of close to that. All right. So, but yeah, Vigilante shows up in there. So I'm pretty excited about him being there because my buddy Mikey turned me on to Vigilante, saying that he's kind of like DC's version of Peacemaker. And so I went and read all those a few years ago. A bunch of them, not all of them. But I read a bunch of those a few years ago. And so, yeah, that's pretty exciting that he's in this show now. So, there's that. What else? Toasts of Tinseltown. I mean, we need to finish it up. We haven't watched all of those yet, but it's been all right. Not fantastic. Not my favorite thing, but it's been all right. That's about it, guys. Oh, last night, I finally did get the kids to sit down with me, and we watched Donnie Darko. I bought Donnie Darko on 4K Blu-ray about, I don't know, 2 months ago, because I found it for a good price, and I love that film. And so I went ahead and pulled the trigger and bought that sucker, and in hopes that I would watch it with my kids. My kids would watch it and they would like it as much as I loved it when I saw it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Anyway, we finally got a chance to watch it last night, and it started up, and they were just kind of, what is it? It's typical stuff. And then once it got going, and they realized it's about some angsty teen and time travel and all these other things, they loved it. My son really liked it. He was totally digging on it, and so that was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun seeing his eyes and watching him trying to figure out exactly what was going on and guessing and all that stuff. It was cool. So we watched that last night, and they really loved it. All right, that's it for watching. That's it for listening. What am I reading? Not much. I need to read some more of the comics that I have. I'm all caught up on Moon Knight, but outside of that, not much else. I need to get caught up on some of these other, Star Wars High Republic books and some of this other stuff that I just haven't read yet. So that's about it, guys. I mean, not much else going on, but I just wanted to share the whole flipping computers thing for you. Even though, like I said, it's really kind of a misnomer, because I'm not really flipping computers. I'm taking a bunch of older parts, putting them together, and making a gaming rig for some lucky person out there who's willing to spend some jack. But can't afford, because if you go buy a nice gaming rig right now, they're very expensive, man. I mean, to get something that'll do what the systems that I'm building will be able to do, you're going to spend at least $1,000, okay? Plus, there's an upgrade path for what I'm doing. So, and a lot of times when you spend $1,000 on those, you're not getting some of the same stuff, right? So I'm going to have a boot SSD drive that has Windows and all that on it, and then I will have a storage drive. You can buy those suckers in bulk on AliExpress, or you can buy them directly on Amazon even for a very reasonable price, and that's kind of what I'm planning on doing for now. Down the road, I'll buy them more in bulk. I can buy 5 or 10 at a time when things get going a little bit better. But the idea right now is to, make some money on this first one, take the original investment, keep it, buy more parts, build another one, same thing, flip that one. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But it's fun, man. I like doing it. It's kind of fun looking for the parts and negotiating a little bit. But I like building computers, man. I love technology, and it's always been a thing of mine. And so why not use that and enjoy doing it and make a little extra scratch, right? All right, guys. That's all I got for now. I don't really have much else to talk about. I appreciate you guys listening. Sorry, we're about a day late this week, but I'm not $1 short. I know. I've got plenty of dad jokes, guys. But I do appreciate you guys listening. Keep it up. I'm not going to put any more questions or any polls or anything, because nobody's ever even answered one. So it's really not even worth the extra 2 or 3 minutes I spend doing it. And I get it, man. Everybody's busy. They just want to listen to the podcast and move on. But I do appreciate you guys listening and moving on. I really would appreciate if you guys would go and rate this podcast, specifically in Apple Podcasts, but of course on Google Podcasts or on any wherever you listen to it. I use Pocket Casts, but wherever you listen to it, if you would just give it a good rating, which I hope that's what you would give it, I would really appreciate that, and it does help me. So, not that I'm making any scratch off this deal. I just do this because I like talking, basically. So, I appreciate you guys. Keep on listening. I'll catch you guys next week. And, hey, get off my lawn. I just picked up my first part, which is a motherboard and processor. And the guy did have the I/O shield, which is awesome. I hope that I can do business with that guy again, man, because what a deal. For like $60, I got that Core i5 6500 and a gigabyte gaming motherboard, basically. I mean, this thing's got spots for M.2 drives. It's got USB ports. It's got multiple PCIe slots for video cards and other things. It's just really nice, man. So I'm very excited. It's nicer than any motherboard I've had on any system I've used other than the Apple stuff. You know, those motherboards look like they're from the future, even though the one I have is 13 years old. But yeah, man, I'll put a picture of this motherboard and processor in the IO Shield. I took a picture real quick when I got it from him. Just met him in the parking lot of an Office Max, and yeah, $60 for all this. Boy, I thought this was going to be the part. This and the GPU, I thought were going to be the parts that were going to kind of be rough to get for good prices. So yeah, that's it. Not much else, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited. It's funny because I also told you guys about that GPU that I'm looking to get, and I haven't heard back from the guy yet for tonight. I may still go get it from him tonight. I may get it later in the week. I know he said he works pretty far away, and he's working till 5 p.m. every night, so it would have to be till after 6 before he could meet me somewhere. So maybe I'll go meet him. I know he talked about meeting at Micro Center in Overland Park, which is how appropriate. I always call that the nerd store because I love going there. But my wife is like, doesn't want anything to do with that store. She wants about as much to do with that as she wants to do with a record store or a comic book shop. I guess at least at a comic book shop for her, there's very interesting things to look at. She has endured all of those places with me, but one that she does not want to go back is Micro Center. I know that's not a good advertisement for Micro Center, but Micro Center is pretty awesome. I love them. I would highly recommend using them if you never have. They're a great store. If you've got one in your town, go to it, man. They've got everything you're going to need as far as, you know, pretty much consumer electronics, but definitely when it comes to computers. That's it, guys. Not much else. I just wanted to drop you guys a quick line and let you know that I picked up that first deal and I secured it. I'm very excited about it. I mean, it looks practically brand new. The motherboard and the processor do. So I'm jazzed. I'm really jazzed. I can't wait to get the rest of the parts for this thing. And just knowing that I can throw an M.2 or an NVMe drive on this motherboard to be the boot drive, and then it has a spot for another one. If the person who buys this wants to buy another NVMe drive or M.2 drive, they could put it in here. And they would be able to not even have any, you know, of the bigger SSDs, which kind of look like a small portable drive or a hard drive. They wouldn't have to use that either. So pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. That's it, guys. I still have to find some RAM. I have to find a case and a PSU or a power supply unit. And then I have to order the hard drive, the SSD, you know, some RGB stuff, fans and all that jazz. And then I still have to pick up this GPU from this guy. But after that, man, I'm going to have a system. And I'll definitely put pictures of that up for you guys to take a look at too. Hang in there. I'll be back with more soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye. Get off my lawn.